Hello children, today we are going to discuss about a very interesting chapter. The name of the chapter is water. Now what is water? Water is actually tasteless, colorless, odorless and yet the most important, or you can say it is vital for the existence of plants and animals on this earth. It's a very important natural resource without which the life of the living beings is not possible. You can see here the image of Earth, which is taken from outer space. And what can be seen through this image? That the majority of it looks to be blue in color. Now, why so? This indicates that the Earth is covered by water, right? But again, interesting thing about this is that majority of the water which is present in Earth, it is present in oceans and sea, which forms the saline water or the salty water, and remaining part is known as the fresh water. And now the saline water, it is not fit for consumption, we cannot use it, we can only consume the fresh water. The fresh water, again, it is majority of fresh water, it is present in glaciers, ice caps, so we are left with a little amount of water. Out of this majority of water which is present on Earth's surface, actually we can use a tiny bit of it. The water, its very peculiar features are associated with water, like it can exist in three forms. Now what are these three forms? Solid, liquid and gas. And also these three forms can be interconverted into each other. Suppose we are having a solid form ice and we need to convert it into liquid. So that process is known as melting. And through liquid, if we want to convert it into vapor, we will have to heat it, and that is known as evaporation. Now again, if you want to convert the vapor into liquid, what you will do? You will cool it down. The process is called condensation. And if you want to convert again this water into solid, what you are going to do? You are going to freeze it. That is called freezing. The boiling point of water is 100 degrees centigrade and the freezing point is 0 degrees centigrade. Now some uses of water. There are many uses of water, like we use it for domestic purposes, for drinking, cooking, washing our clothes, washing utensils, for irrigation purposes, for watering our plants, for watering the crops, and in industries also water is used for there is one more important thing about water, that is water is a universal solvent. Now why am I saying this? Because water can dissolve many substances into it. It is also used as a coolant. Similarly, so the water can also be used for recreational sports like the swimming and all the sports which are associated with water. So in this way we can see that there are various uses of water. Now from where does this water come? So this will bring us to the new topic, that is sources of water. So as we have already discussed that almost 3/4 of the earth is covered with water. But most of this is salty and it is not fit for our consumption. And this salty water, it comes from seas, oceans and a few lakes. These are salty. Other than that, the other part is fresh water. It can be obtained only from the water bodies which are present on earth, like rivers, lakes, ponds, streams, waterfalls, etc. And in this fresh water also, 90% of it, approximately 90% of the fresh water, it exists in ice and in the form of ice in mountains and glaciers. The surface water, it can be obtained from sea, streams, ponds, river, ocean and lakes. And there is another category, groundwater. Now what is groundwater? Groundwater is actually the water which seep in through the ground. Suppose there is a rainfall. Okay, so during rainfall, some of the water, most of the water, it flows off and either it meets rivers and ultimately it meets the ocean. But some of the part of the water, it is absorbed by the soil and the roots of the plants. Okay, and it seeps there in the ground, which forms the groundwater. So that groundwater is also used for many purposes. It is extracted out with the help of well, tube well, hand pumps and bore wells, etc. From where does the water comes in these sources? Now one by one we are just forming a chain, like from where does the water comes to our home. We have seen that there are sources of water associated with it. Now we must understand that from where does the water comes in these sources of water, that is from a process, a very interesting process, that is water cycle. Now, what is water cycle actually? Water cycle refers to the cyclical movement of water from one form to the another, and in this way it is maintaining the balance of water in the atmosphere. What happens in this is that first of all there are three steps involved in it. Okay, one is evaporation, another one is condensation, and the third one is precipitation. What happens, the water from the seas, oceans, lakes, it gets evaporated and gets converted into water vapor through the heat of the sun. Okay, now this evaporation is also accompanied by transpiration from plants. Now, what is transpiration? Transpiration refers to the loss of water from the plants. Now, both these processes of evaporation and transpiration, it leads to the formation of water vapor. Now, as the water vapor rises up in the atmosphere, what happens over there? The temperature gets lowered down, and these vapors gets converted into tiny droplets. Now these tiny droplets, they come together and they appear to be clouds. Whatever we see as clouds, what are these actually? These are tiny drops of water, and the conversion of water vapors into these tiny drops, this process is called condensation. So till now we have discussed two processes: the conversion of liquid into vapor, that is evaporation, and the conversion of these vapors into tiny droplets, condensation. After that, when the tiny droplets, they merge with each other, then they form clouds, big clouds, and through these big clouds precipitation occurs. Third process. Now, what is precipitation? The coming down of water back to the earth, either in the form of rain, snow, or hail. That is known as precipitation. So in this way the water is coming back from where it started, from where the journey started. Like the journey started from seas and oceans, and now finally after it rains, it will again come back to the same places. So that is why the name water cycle is being given to it. It is very important and very vital for maintaining water balance. Now, one question might strike your mind, that if the water balance is maintained, then what could be the problem? What is the problem with water? Why we are saying the save water every day? Why? Because the amount of water is same, but the population is rising day by day, and we very well know that the amount of fresh water, it is limited, and that consumption rate is increasing day by day. So it is causing threat towards it. So there are two extremities associated with rainfall. If the rainfall is there in a moderate pace, then it is good. But what if it rains heavily? And what if it does not rain for a long period of time? So both of these conditions, they comes under the category of disaster. Let us discuss it one by one. So if it rains heavily, what would happen? Heavy rains, they will lead to the situation which is called flood. And what happens in flood? It leads to the damage in life and property. It can submerge the complete area. It can also submerge the forest, villages, and cities. So it causes huge damage, as you can see here in the diagram. Next one is there, what happens if it does not rain for a long period of time? Again, it leads to a situation which is known as drought. The drought, what happens during drought? The soil, it just continues to lose water, and there is no water left. The level of water in ponds and wells or rivers, they just get down and down. The groundwater, it may also become scarce, and because of this, there is a difficulty in getting food and fodder. This is the condition of soil during drought. So this is the reason why there is a requirement of an adequate amount of rainfall is required. Now this will bring us to a new and interesting chapter, that how can we conserve water. Now we understand that water is of vital importance. It needs to be conserved. Though we are surrounded by huge amount of water, but again we are left with only a few percentage of water which is safe or which is good for our consumption, as we cannot consume salty water. There was a famous lines by a mariner that water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. Suppose you are surrounded in a sea and you are surrounded by water from all the way. But what is the situation? You cannot drink it because it's not safe or fit for our consumption. So this brings to us to a very important thing we must know, that is how can we conserve water. Now we need to conserve water, we need to stop the wastage of water, and we should not keep the tap water running. We should plant more and more trees. We should just dig, or we should make more dams that will prevent both drought and floods. We must harvest rainwater. Okay, so these are the activities which needs to be avoided, like brushing teeth. While brushing teeth, the tap should not be left open. While bathing, see, the boy has forgot to turn off the tap, so it is leading to the wastage of water. These activities need to be stopped. Rainwater harvesting. What is rainwater harvesting? It is the collection of rainwater from the surface on which rain falls and then store it for future use. Now, majority of rainwater, it flows down. It goes into drain. Now, if we want to save, conserve this water, what we can apply? We can apply the technique of rainwater harvesting. Like, first of all, what we can do, we can just build the pipe-like structures from which can connect the roof, and we can just build a tank either underground or on the surface of water, which can store that water which is just draining out from the roof. So then that water, again, it can be used in future. Even if it is not fit for drinking, we can use it for other purposes. Here you can see the example of rainwater harvesting. Actually, it is an example of rooftop rainwater harvesting. So what are the advantages? Advantages that it reduces the waste of water, it helps in storing the clean water, then it can be used again in future for many activities. It helps to prevent the waterlogging, and in fact it can also be used to recharge the groundwater. So children, now we understand what is water, why it is important for us. So there is only one thing I would like to say, that stop wasting water and start conserving it. Thank you. That's all for the day. Have a very good day ahead.